One of these three companies is a bootstrapped HR SaaS with no VC funding, competing with companies worth up to $10 billion. And our client is outranking them on Google for the exact keywords that buyers are actually searching when they're making a purchase decision. In this video, I'll walk through three case studies, explain the methodology behind it, and just some of our thoughts on how we approach our authority building campaigns. So there's a pattern across these three companies I'm going to talk about. Of course, the results are different in different scales, different industries. Most likely you'll be watching this video with a specific SaaS product in mind, most likely your own. And by the end of this video, you'll understand if your company fits like one of these stories. And even better, you'll understand the exact methodology that we use and why that can apply to you, pretty regardless of which vertical you actually work in. The first company I want to talk about in this video is Prospeo, a B2B sales intelligence tool. They're primarily working in the email finding and LinkedIn Sales Navigator export space. They have a really solid product, good on-page SEO, but when we started working with them, they didn't really have any domain authority. But the thing is, in this space, they were competing against the likes of Apollo, Cognizant, and other like incumbent brands who are in this space for decades. Because these are ultimately the landing pages where people are going to come. They're going to convert at a much higher rate than they would at a blog. In the time we worked with Prospeo, they went from having about 1,000 visitors to over 17,000 visitors. Traffic value increased to over $15,000 a month. And during our campaign, they crossed the $1.5 million annual recurring revenue milestone. Of course, the link building isn't the only reason for this. They had a solid product. Their on-page positioning was good. At the time, they were very active on LinkedIn. But authority was clearly a missing piece that we meaningfully contributed towards. And building this authority to commercial pages is the reason why a lot of landing pages are able to rank for strong commercial queries. And ultimately, this is where the conversion happens. If this situation or what I've just sort of teased about what's coming up sounds at all familiar to you, maybe your key pages, key keywords are sort of stuck in positions that are lower. Maybe they're driving a lot of impressions, but not clicks. Maybe you're not getting the visibility in AI that you'd like to get. What we offer at EMGI is this diagnostic offer. So there's a call, the link in the description of this video in the comment section too. And if you go ahead and book that and provide some information before the call, we'll run a full diagnostic of your website, where you sit in the industry, the sort of commercial landscape you're in, and actually devise an action plan with you on how you can, out of your SEO, more out of your organic visibility. The call takes like between 15 and 30 minutes. It's nothing too long. There's no real pressure to buy anything from us. Of course, we're going to tell you how you can work with us, but it's not something you have to do, obviously. At the very least, you walk away with something valuable that you can work on. The second case study I want to talk about is AI generation SaaS with enterprise clients, including the likes of Sony, Nike, and Tesla. And they came to us when they had a completely different position to Prospeo. They weren't just starting out. They were a bit more of an established company and with SEO that was already working. They had a knowledgeable SEO base internally. They had a good product as well, but maybe they had a bit more establishment in their commercial pages and their rankings. They knew exactly what they needed, but the problem was more around the execution, not being able to drive the links needed to move the rankings higher. With this company, we again built about 10 links a month. We did 70 plus links in a 7-month period. The average referring domain had over 36,000 monthly organic traffic verified in Ahrefs. So these aren't just high DR sites, but these are real traffic with real audience and real keyword rankings that are relevant to their business. We largely concentrated around 5 commercial keywords and 5 commercial clusters of pages. We were looking at things like music visualizers, logo animation, explainer videos, and video AI. So we're not just focusing on the homepage and building like these branded signals that say, oh yeah, Viddyoze is this, but we're actually reinforcing very specific pages. And because of that, we're able to build these signals to Google and this trust in the brand that they are a genuine authority for these specific topics that are important for their buying journey. In the 7 months, they saw a 200% increase in traffic from 5,000 to 15,000 monthly visitors. And out of them extra 10,000 visitors gained, 5,000 of them went to 2 of the commercial pages that we targeted. This was worth an estimated $90,000 in additional annual revenue just from this, the value of ranking for these keywords and bringing extra clicks to these pages. The third case study takes this further because the competitive gap wasn't just about the execution. It's about the understanding of a specific mechanism that most SaaS marketers and SEO agencies haven't even really heard of. HR Partner is a bootstrapped Australian SaaS. No VC funding, but competing for the same commercial keywords in many cases as the likes of BambooHR, Gusto, Personio, and Rippling. Companies with combined valuations in the tens of billions, with dedicated SEO teams of 5, 10, 15 people. This is a very extreme competitive mismatch, maybe the most extreme that we've worked with. And it's the case study that best explains on a more mechanical level how the mechanism of search everywhere optimization actually works. When HR Partner first came to us, they had a lot of keywords that were high impact and very specific to their brand, like lead management software and HR portal, stuck on page 2. Solid product, of course, decent on-page and real customers, but this sort of ranking problem means that people aren't really able to discover them, and you're not in the consideration set when it comes to making the buying decisions. And these are the sorts of queries that actually produce real demos. The conventional wisdom says that you can't beat a $13 billion company at Google. It's simply a authority mismatch. No level of building backlinks is going to compete with the years of expertise that they have, the years of authority behind their brand. You're never going to beat them on DR alone because it will take thousands of backlinks. And that's going to be very expensive, right? Because it's not just 1,000 backlinks, it's 1,000 really good backlinks. It's a fundamental mismatch, and it's why the enterprise usually wins. But I would say that this case study is a good example of how it is possible to compete if you take the right approach. Most SEO agencies and most SaaS marketing teams make the mistake of trying to compete against these incumbents on DR alone. They try and push the client's overall DR up to match that of the competitor, but this isn't going to work because if you're say a DR40 website and you're competing against a DR85 giant, that gap is massive. That gap is literally thousands of backlinks. Domain authority, when it's above like 50 or 60, takes absolutely hundreds of backlinks to go up even a few points. But this is what a lot of agencies don't explain properly. And it's that rankings aren't at the domain level, but on the specific page level and the specific page relevancy to a query. And that's a completely different game and a much fairer matchup. Then despite this fundamental massive mismatch in domain authority, you're able to compete with them on the page level because you're serving that intent and you're seen as more of a topical relevance. This is where you can spot a gap in the market, a way to market your product, to market your features. And this is where you can focus this specific authority to become seen as the expertise on this. This is what you want to be associated with. And this is going to pass through to how you rank in Google, but also how you rank in LLMs. And these systems, they're learning about you all the time, and this authority snowballs. The idea of the strategy is concentrated authority. So we'd work on one feature page at a time, one page that was high value. The average DR of these links was over 65. Average domain traffic above 40,000 visitors a month. Every single backlink is in genuine editorial content, talking about HR trends, talking about automation in the HR industry, and topics that are interconnected semantically to what the client does. These aren't generic marketing blogs or guest post farms. These are real editorial placements that carry a ton of weight, and they're very different to the guest post farms because they're not just linking to anyone. They've got strict editorial requirements, and therefore a link from here is seen as highly valuable. And if you're getting a backlink, you want to evaluate on as well, is this domain trusted? Does this domain have significant traffic? Does it rank for keywords it actually wants to rank for? Artificially inflated domain rating and rankings for really irrelevant topics. That should be a key quality check. But yeah, overall, the result with this client's great. The organic traffic value has gone from $5,000 a month to over $20,000 a month. That's like a 300% increase and over, around $250,000 a year in traffic value, which is obviously a significant return on investment, and is why the client continues to work with us 2.5 years later. They have multiple page one rankings for the exact keywords we've talked about by using the phased rotation strategy of the pages, and are outranking the likes of Gusto, Rippling, Personio in many cases. And of course, when we started this strategy, AI wasn't as much of a fundamental play, but as a byproduct of this authority work, and specifically building links and authority signals in the semantic territory that's relevant, the byproduct of that is the client now gets cited a lot in AI and in the LLMs. And of course, there's more work that can be done that's specific to GEO. But even just by doing these backlinks, we built a great foundation for ranking well in AI. And without that authority, they wouldn't be such a big player in the specific set of rankings that they want to be involved in. 3 different companies, 3 different verticals, 3 different competitive environments. The methodology was the same in every case. Relevance first, commercial page focus, and concentrated editorial authority. Very different companies, but the pattern of the results was always the same. Domain authority is a site level metric, largely measured by SEO tools and third parties. But the actual authority you have to specific pages and your rankings and how often you're visible, that's real tangible data. That is the mechanism that makes all of this possible. The question with building backlinks is not whether this works. It's about whether you have the right team and the right execution to deliver it. If you're in the same position with a solid product, similar commercial rankings, but not able to get the level of customers you want through organic, maybe you feel like organic as a channel isn't working as well, that you don't have enough inbound SEO leads. As I mentioned earlier in this video, there's the option to book a strategy call with us. There's no pressure to buy anything, but we'll go through your specific situation, the landscape, and where you fit into that, the different levels of search everywhere optimization you can do, what you can optimize for on page, what backlinks you need to build, which Reddit threads you should be in, and build this multi-channel approach with you. And then whether you work with us or not, that's up to you. But we'll give you an authority plan that you can take away and build internally anyway. Calls 15 minutes. If you want, take me up on the offer. But yeah, thank you again for watching. I hope this was a good video. Enjoy talking about these case studies. Yeah, take it easy and see you when we next see you.